Janella Hinds, United Federation of Teachers, Local 2. And I would like to amend the resolution and resolve that the AFT support its state and local affiliates in their fight to preserve locally negotiated agreements that protect, among other things, due process and job security, and that support teacher professionalism so that locals can shape the redesign of schools to meet the needs of teachers and students. Resolve that the AFT urge its state and local affiliates to campaign to expose the for-profit motives of high-stakes testing companies and end the improper use of test results, which diminishes real learning and is used to punish students, teachers, families, schools, and districts rather than build better schools. Resolve that the AFT urge its state and local affiliates to demand that school districts stop the arbitrary closing and turning around of schools and rehire displaced and terminated teachers immediately. And resolve that the AFT urge and support its state and local affiliates to march, petition, rally, hold media events, and mobilize and utilize the help of supportive community partners to expose the inequalities that exist within the funding and management of public education and to improve the public perception of public education. And as the maker of this resolution, I rise to speak about this amendment which strengthens the language of this resolution. As a proud member of the UFT, I have to say that school closure has been an issue that has captivated our attention and the attention of our members for the past year. The issue of school closure has captivated the public's attention for quite some time in news magazines and on talk shows. And we as a nation have debated the decision to close schools in Central Falls, Chicago, Detroit, Louisville, and my home, New York City. So-called educational innovators and reformers have proposed school closure as the only viable reform strategy for urban schools, while linking it to desires for funding, lower enrollment, and no child left behind mandates. In New York City, the Department of Education attempted to close 19 schools. Many of these schools serve our city's most vulnerable students, including students with who are English language learners, students with disabilities, students who are overage and undercredited. These schools have been, in many instances, the most positive and stable forces in their communities. They have also been the underserved experiments of self-proclaimed reformers. Using measures that were arbitrary and capricious, the Department of Education took steps to close these schools. But in Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, and Manhattan, our communities, our educators, their students, and their families stood up and fought back. Together,
Chicago Teachers Union Local 1. I'd like to speak in favor of the resolution as amended and thank Janella for supporting these amendments. Closing of schools in Chicago and New York are prime examples of the current attacks on public education. As a member of Chicago Teachers Union, we've witnessed students rapidly losing their neighborhood schools, all in the name of improvement. It seems clear to me that the closing of schools in name of improving education is both a fallacy and a mask for attacking tenure rights and seniority, feeding the profits of testing companies, and busting our unions. I believe that the amendments that you see before you are in the spirit of the resolution and would enhance the message that the authors of the resolution wish to send. In Chicago, our contract is under attack from a CEO who sees dollar signs rather than years of service. He's trying to chip away at a 10-month, which is short, reassignment pool for tenured teachers who are displaced by the closing and turning around of schools. We must preserve protections for our experienced brothers and sisters so that they can do what they love, which is to teach young people. In Chicago, over the last 2 years, we've built a movement. We've been at every board meeting, we've been in the CEO's face, and we've gotten schools off that closing list for the first time ever. This resolution and these amendments state that the best way to improve our schools and educate our youth is to make sure schools are open and teaching and learning by union teachers is unmuzzled by the motives of testing companies. We must protect teachers from losing their jobs as a result of these motives and mobilize to make sure that the public understands just how devastating these closings are for students, teachers, families, and communities across this country. Thank you.
Lewis, President, Local 1. I rise to support this amendment and the spirit in which it was crafted between Locals 1 and 2 of the American Federation of Teachers. I would like to thank Local 2 for understanding what it means to be on the front lines of a policy that is not only dangerous, it's deadly. We have lost students to school closures. My brothers and sisters here may or may not know, but when schools close, communities are destabilized. Because oftentimes our schools are the only places of stability in the most deserving and yet underserved children's lives. And what these school closings have done is scapegoat teachers and stolen the joy of teaching and learning. So I hope we understand that school closings, while they may look good, oh, that school's failing. We know that when resources have been taken away for decades, and in Chicago, we're not playing. Our schools have been starved, so it's now time to nourish them, nourish our children, nourish our parents, our community partners, and nourish our brothers and sisters, teaching and paraprofessionals. Thank you.